Hello, people. I am Caleb,
And I am Autumn.
and we are Wicked Grace.
And I don't remember the rest of it.
Ooh, I'm getting tired too. We were going to talk about love magic today. We're going to keep it. We're going to keep it as an open-ended topic since we are going on tangents a lot.
Right.
And also just to kind of go with the flow more. So, I would like to start with talking about what love magic kind of is from my perspective, at least.
Okay.
So, I know love magic has been used to bewitch someone into falling in lust or in love with someone against their will, usually.
Mm-hmm.
Or could be used to break up relationships, to have that one of the people in that relationship to fall for another.
Mm-hmm.
Or just getting someone to fuck you for one night and then moving on past them, because that's also been done a few times.
Right.
I've done that a few times. But love magic is very fucking touchy for me, because I do not like it. I think it is one of the cruelest curses you could do to someone. And I call it a curse. I call it curse level, because it could ruin someone's entire fucking life if you do not pay attention to what you're doing.
Right.
Because, like I mentioned, you could break up an entire family. You
Right.
could drive someone to kill themselves if they can't have you, if you're only wanting to have sex with them. Or let's say you were interested in them, and then they couldn't follow through in the bedroom, and you lost all interest because they were such a lousy lay. Which has happened to me as well, where someone was so terrible in the bedroom and had lousy bedside manner that I was totally uninterested in a second time, even if they came crawling back. But then they'd get obsessive if you did a love spell, which I did. They would get obsessive with you because they enjoyed you so thoroughly that they wanted more. They were craving me at that point after the first time. But I wasn't, because they sucked at it.
Right.
I just did a good job. They didn't put any effort in. And because of my love spell, they were really addicted and attracted to me and would not leave me alone, and then started becoming a stalker. Yeah. So that's a way a love spell can backfire. Or, like in the case of the craft, they could try to rape you because maybe you're not really that interested in them. You just wanted to see what it would be like to have them into you. Mm-hmm. Or let's say you wanted someone to do your bidding, but you didn't actually want to have sex with them.
Right.
But because of your love spell, they want it so badly that every fiber of their being is saying that they need to have sex with you, whether you say yes or not.
Right.
And maybe that person's too fucking toxic for you. And that love spell you just did bound you two together for the rest of your lives, unless one of you dies. Or if you do separate, it would be a really grueling and terrible affair. Like,
Right.
You could lose everything in your life. You could lose your freedom if you do the love spell on the wrong person.
Right.
So, do you have anything you want to add to that? Of how you define a love spell, or different types of love spells that you've witnessed or done yourself?
Now, the one you were talking about where there's fucking involved and that's it, that's more of like a lust spell. And as with most things that I do, if I don't think I've ever done a lust spell, but if I were to do a lust spell, that would be more along the lines of, again, bringing in that person what I wanted, but leaving it open enough to, the universe to bring it. But as for love spells, I look at it as like, be careful what you wish for, because it can get obsessive. It can become, it can backfire, or that you really think that you want something, then you get that person and you're like, oh shit, what the fuck was I thinking? This person is totally wrong for me.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like to keep it as a specific person, like boom, boom, one person. Now, in the previous episode, I talked about the love spell I did with this friend, and she wrote down everything that she wanted, and then I remember we used High John the Conqueror root, and there was a couple other things that we used, and she had handmade these candles that we burned periodically or whatever, and we burned the petition papers or what we wanted on our thing, and I just kind of lent my energy to her to help her because what she wanted. And I kid you not, it was a few months later, but she ended up meeting this guy through an online dating app, and they just immediately clicked. It was basically love at first sight. And they, I think they were probably only seeing each other for a few weeks, and I'm pretty sure they went up to the courthouse and got married. So now they're married. They've been married for a little while now. They got married in, I want to say we did the spell working sometime in late 2019, and she met this guy in 2021, and they got married in 2021.
Nice.
So it was only like, I want to say it was only a couple months that she met him to where they got married. I'm not for certain, but it was just really fast, like boom, 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 boom. So again, be careful what you wish for, you know. And I think in love spells, like if you have more than one person to help you, that energy, because I think the more energy together can help boost a working. Even if you don't want it for yourself and you just want to help this other person because they really want that aspect or whatever, I don't see any problem helping that other person to boost energy and to put that call out into the universe to bring that person to them. So I kind of think of like the phrase out of the Bible that says many hands make light work. So I think that pertains to spell work and witchcraft as well. You know, like, you know, you have a bunch of friends get together and like, oh, this person needs a new job, or this person wants a lover, you know, a decent lover in their life or whatever, you know. I think you should be able to help that other person boost their energy and put that call out into the universe to bring that. So, but yeah, that's my whole take on love spells. So, anyway.
No, I totally am aligned with that. I zoned out a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
But
yeah. It's kind of a really cruddy jury day today.
Oh, not cruddy to me. This is my element. Like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If I go outside right now, my eyes won't be squinting, and I won't get a headache.
Oh,
like,
nice.
This is cloudy, overcast weather is the weather I thrive in, especially if it's misty, foggy, or high humidity and kind of warm. Beautiful.
It just makes me sleepy.
I mean, who doesn't want to sleep in this?
Right.
But I want to go back to love spells a little bit, because you had said that when I labeled lust spells under the love spell thing, I want to kind of explain myself a little bit there, because I'm glad you mentioned that, because not everyone's going to consider a lust spell under the love spell category.
Right.
But I do, because in order for me to actually have sex with someone, I have to have the smallest spark of love for them. Like, I have to actually be compatible in love with them in order for me to be able to have sex. Otherwise, I don't have the interest.
Right.
So if they can't make me feel a little bit of love, I'm just not interested. They gotta woo me a little bit.
They gotta woo
I gotta feel flustered. I have to be impressed a little bit.
Yeah.
Otherwise, my body just has no reaction to them. Basically, if they don't put out effort, I don't put out.
Right. Right. I get it.
So that's why I would label it as a love spell, because I need to be in love for them to have lust for me, essentially.
Right.
Or for me to want them to have lust. But, so we define love spells decently in kind of our own workings, I would like to, and we've already talked about why love spells can be very bad, very dangerous, and also under the curse category. I kind of want to talk about alternatives. So, like, instead of using a love spell to get someone, use different types of spells to get the same desired effect. So, where we would start is, instead of starting with what type of spell you're going to use, we're going to think of that outcome that you want. What your end goal you want to have, and then we'll work our way backwards from that. So, let's say you want to be in a polyamorous relationship.
Mm-hmm.
How would you do that? What kind of polyamorous relationship do you want to be in? Do you want to be the third in someone else's current relationship? Or do you want to meet two other people that you aren't dating yet, but they actually are interested in the polyamorous idea and are willing to start that with you?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you want to date someone who's interested in polyamory and you bring in a third after your relationship is stable? Or do you want to be a part of a newly formed relationship, or do you want to be a part of a married relationship or an engaged relationship, same-sex relationship, duo sex relationship like male and female? Like, how do you want that to go about? And then after you figure out what you want, because we're only worrying about yourself and your own wants and your own needs,
Right.
we want to think about what kind of personalities you would find acceptable and which ones you want to reject entirely. Like,
Right.
you want a yes, a maybe, and a no list. And that no list will be a heavy, heavy no. Like, total deal breaker, no wiggle room. And some of the, I don't really know, we'll throw those in the middle column, because there's going to be a lot of people that have those maybes. And sometimes those maybes, they might work out of their own nature while
Right.
being with you and the other person.
Right.
So, let's say you want to be a part of, I'll use myself for this analogy. I'm a water sign. What I want to be a part of if I were to be in a polyamorous relationship, is I am okay with another water sign in the relationship, like adding to the relationship, but I kind of prefer not to, because there's already enough of that in me. I'm good with how much I got, but I'm not against it. It's so, like, another water sign, I'll put in that maybe column.
Right.
Fire sign, I don't want someone who's totally spontaneous and reckless and burns everything that they touch. I don't want that kind of fire sign, so I'll put that aspect of the fire sign in the no column. But in the yes column, because I do want a fire sign in a polyamorous relationship, I want someone who's passionate as fuck, who's really just, their personality is on fire. They are just the light of a party. They are the center of attention. They are this majestic being that somehow decided that they wanted you in their life, and they are not afraid to fight for you to stay in their life in a positive way. Not in a toxic way, a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
They will defend you against other people, protect you, and give you that light in your life. That's in my yes column.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about an earth sign. 'Cause I would also like to have an earth sign in my little family.
Yeah.
What I'm going to put in the hardcore no column are the earth signs that are not emotional. The stoic ones who have no reaction to anything. That'll be my definite no column. I need someone that is reactionary, that reacts to something, that has emotions, that isn't...
Virgos.
Yeah.
In the earth sign category. Virgos. I'm sorry. If there's any Virgos out there that are taking offense to this, I'm sorry. It's just my experience with Virgos has been just...
Pathetic.
No, it's been like... I just want to rip my hair out, and I'm just like... I'm attracted to you, but at the same time I want to kill you, and it just drives me freaking insane. So Virgos, I'm just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
It's like the person's like, oh, I'm a Virgo. I'm like, oh, no, I'm good. I'm good. Same thing with like a certain person's name. If I hear this one certain person's name, I'm really, like, really, really leery. I'm just like...
Oh, yeah. It's James for me.
It's John for me. Like, if I hear... I'm just like... you seem like a nice person, but... I think I'm just gonna...
Yeah. Every James I've ever met in my life has been... I'm sorry, you're gonna be offended.
This is just our personal experiences with certain things.
No, I'm not saying anything bad, but like, I'm attracted to these people I'm about to shame. And I know it's a toxic trait of mine. It is. It's the only one I refuse to give up because I love it. I just love it so much. I am attracted so heavily to white trash trailer park boys. I don't understand it, but I am so attracted to them, especially when they are the height of toxicity.
Right.
I don't understand it, and I don't want to change it. Even though I know I should, I don't want to. But every James I met has fallen under that category, who is a loser, who's literally addicted to pot, can't go an hour without being high. Usually an alcoholic, maybe can't even afford to pay the rent on time, probably has trouble keeping a job, doesn't have a car because they never fucking have a car. What the fuck? They never have a fucking car. Right. It's like the bare minimum.
Right.
And I'm always one that has to travel, pay for our food, pay for everything. I'm like, I want to be taken care of, bitch.
Right.
And then they are selfish in bed too. They are always caring about themselves. They want to finish within like a one pump chump. And I'm like, what about me? And they're like, there's a bathroom down there. What the fuck?
No.
Or they don't even acknowledge that I have needs.
Right.
And then they'll feel like I should be grateful that they let me touch them.
Mm-hmm.
So moving on. Fuck James. So the earth sign that I would love is the one that is the guardian, the one that's the defender, that is there and to be your rock to lean on. When you are crying and mentally unstable, they are there to be your literal fucking rock in a hard place that you go to, that is your earthen home. It's your warm embrace. It's the stability that you never knew you needed in life and never thought was possible, but is there, and exactly the support that you need to get through that situation. Someone that is always there to have your back, never quick to anger, always quick to understand, willing to talk about it, willing to listen and adapt to better themselves. Someone who is always changing, but always the same at the same time. That's the kind of earth sign I want in my yes column.
Which earth sign would you consider that would fit that? Like, not Virgo, of course, but...
Oh, of course not Virgo.
Virgo, but...
The only one that comes to mind, and I don't really know much about earth, or about the zodiac signs, except for the ones I just know, like, 3 off the top of my head that I
think
know
there's
of.
only 3 earth signs.
I only know Taurus, and I like the non-toxic Taurus, because there is a Taurus that is not emotionally responsive. Really? At all, and it's just, they exist, they'll support you, but all they do is exist. They don't want to help, they don't want to better anything, they're just there. I don't like that version of Taurus, but I like the Taurus that is going to be the protective bull in your life. They're going to be strong and sturdy, but also not afraid to whip out the damn horns.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But that would be like their last choice. They would rather work things out than have to defend themselves, and they are willing to take beating for you, kind of thing.
Aww.
Right. And a fire sign, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know shit about fire signs, and I don't want to, because I want to be surprised. I don't want to have any prejudices, because I know fire signs can be troubles for a lot of people.
Right.
And some people will take being a fire sign way too far. And I just don't want to have that knowledge in my mind of the direct positives or the direct negatives of fire signs. I just want to be impressed.
Right.
And that's the only thing I try to focus on, is when I meet a fire sign, I want them to impress me.
Alright. Yeah. What about air signs?
Oh, I don't know shit about that. I know water signs. I love Scorpios because I'm also a Scorpio.
Right.
And I'm not talking about just the really toxic ones that are out to hurt and kill everyone who slightly minorly inconveniences them, because I'm also that person, but I like the ones that are also willing to grow and change instead of being grounded in their own toxicity.
Right.
Because you can be a water sign where the only water in your life is venom.
Right.
And I like a decent little pond.
Right. I'm an air sign. Well, in tropical astrology, which is what normally people think of, is I am a Gemini. So when I meet another Gemini, I normally click with them. And I do know, like, a few Geminis, like, that I just really click with. And, one on Facebook, I call her my twin, and she spells her name the same way that I do, which is odd. But I call her my twin, and like her and I just really click, you know, really good friends. I have a guy friend who has the name we should not name, but he is also a Gemini, and I've really clicked with him as well. Just so I really click with other Geminis, and I don't know if it's because it's the twin aspect. You know?
It's easy to connect with your own sign.
Right.
You know where you're coming from, so it's easier for you to relate to them and vice versa. Whereas a different sign is a completely different personality that you don't have within yourself as much as your main sign.
Right. Scorpios, I seem to be surrounded by Scorpios. I know
who isn't, though?
Several Scorpios who are... You know, like, I even have a relative that's a Scorpio, like my one cousin, and she's something else. But anyway, I'm surrounded by Scorpios, so I get along really well with Scorpios. I'm supposedly supposed to get along with Sagittarius really well, and that is kind of a hit or miss.
I've never knowingly met a Sagittarius.
My middle son is a Sagittarius, and like I said before, him and I just don't get along at all. Virgos, I'm really leery about Virgos. And I'm not saying that all Virgos are bad, it's just my personal experience has made me very shy of them. But I do love the water signs, and I don't know if it's because
water signs are great. They're really in tune with their emotions.
Exactly. They're very emotional. They're not afraid to say their emotions or to show their emotions. And in my Vedic astrology chart, my moon sign is actually Cancer. So I have that water sign there. So I'm a very emotional person. So when I see somebody else that's really emotional with they're, you know, like they are really in tune with their emotions and can say their emotions and show their emotions, it really just, it makes me happy. It really makes me happy because I am the type of person that I can get by with somebody showing me how they feel about me without saying it, but at the same time, I occasionally would like to hear, hey, I love you. Hey, I'm glad you're in my life. Hey, I miss you. You know, those sort of things. And I mean, it doesn't have to go on this whole big poetic, lovey-dovey thing, although I do like that because I'm an air sign in tropical. That whole communication thing and being stimulated by the mind and speaking to my heart, you know, that really appeals to me, but they don't have to. Just a simple, I miss you, or I love you, or something like that. Now, in Vedic astrology, I am a Taurus. That is my sun sign and also my rising sign. And then in between it, my moon sign, I have Cancer. So I'm a double Taurus. So, and that, they are very pleasure-seeking people. Like, they really enjoy pleasure and luxury. So I see that aspect in myself because I'm really, over the last couple of years, I've really gotten in tune of my own body and my whole pleasure principle of, like, what I value as pleasure and my pursuit of it. And that'll be, like, something totally different another time. But anyway, but I see, as I get older, I see myself more as a Taurus than I do as a Gemini, because I'm kind of outgrowing that whole head in the clouds, you know, spacey, airy sign qualities, and I'm becoming more grounded and earthy kind of aspects of myself.
Okay.
But anyway, to getting off topic again.
We got
way
way off topic.
Sorry.
Oh gosh. So, because I'm pretty sure we're running our time up. How much we got? Oh, we're already half hour through.
All right. Well.
So, let's redirect it kind of more here. So, love spell alternatives. Let's talk about that.
Yes.
Because we way bypassed that. So, love spell alternatives. Sorry, my mind's... I'm getting tired.
Yeah?
Oh, I'm getting so loopy. I would say glamour spells would be your best bet for a love spell alternative. Because that way you're not forcing anyone to do anything. You're not... Now, let me kind of define how you would do a glamour spell in place of a love spell. So like how I mentioned in the previous video, where if you're doing a spell for someone, the easiest thing to do would probably be a glamour spell to draw attention to it. So you'd want to draw attention to you. Now, how would you draw attention to yourself with a glamour spell? What would be the best working way? You could make yourself shinier in the crowd, yes. One of my favorite glamours to do when I'm trying to get someone to be attracted to me, not messing with their emotions, but to draw their eyes to me a little longer than to everyone else, is to make everything around me seem to be painted in a grayish hue, and me painted in a vibrant light, in the space around me to be very vibrant in color.
I like that.
So everything seems dull, boring, and lifeless around me, except for me. I seem like I'm full of life, so someone who might just be walking past me in a crowd would be kind of just like, it's kind of a gray, dreary day, and then they look at me, and then everything after seeing me just seems like it's brighter and full of color. You're kind of manipulating them, but you're not manipulating their emotions. You're just making yourself seem more attractive, which can also work for yourself, to where if you cast a glamour on yourself for only you to see, or for you to see a version that everyone else sees in you, so that way you don't see anything different. And you always tell yourself that you're beautiful, that you're shiny, you're attractive, you're wanted, and that there are no flaws in you that needs to be changed.
Right.
Another way to do it would be if you have a piece of you that is physical or emotional, spiritual, whatever, that you really love about yourself, and you're just having a hard time loving other aspects of yourself. Highlight that thing that you love about yourself so brightly in your own mind that you don't see any of your flaws. You just are only focused on the things that you currently do love. And if you work within that thing that you love, like, I love my butt. My butt's like the only thing I will, like, someone compliments it, I'm like, thank you, I know. So if someone says I have a pretty face, I'm like, no, I look like I got fucked up by a tree, please.
You do not.
I know, but I don't see that. And I can't accept compliments based on my face, because I just don't feel that I look attractive.
Right.
Now, my butt, I worked hard on. I like that butt. It looks good in jeans, looks good in shorts, looks good in anything and nothing at all.
Gotcha.
I love it. Someone compliments my butt, I'm like, damn fucking right, I worked for that shit. And I know it looks good. You give me more compliments. Come on. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Like, I won't fight about that. I'll fight for more compliments, if anything.
Right.
So, in my journey of self-love, to try to love myself more, is I actually cast a glamour, funny enough, on my ass to make it look more prominent, to make it look cuter, so that way, instead of focusing on all the things that I find as flaws in my body, I'm just focusing on my butt. And I don't look at any of my other flaws, so I stopped looking at them over time. Whereas beforehand, I would look at my flaws, every one of them, all day, every day, shame myself about them, degrade myself, made myself feel bad, called myself ugly, fat, disgusting, lumpy, pimple face, everything.
Right.
But ever since I did the glimmer on my butt, I'm real confident because the only thing I'm thinking about is how good my butt looks in them jeans.
Right.
And that's the only thing I think of.
Right.
And when I'm walking, that's the only thing I think of. Because I'm like, oh, I bet my butt looks good, shimmying. Like, I bet everyone behind me just loves that view. That's the only thing I'm thinking about. So I'm not putting myself down.
Right. You're giving yourself confidence.
And granted, I do have trouble loving aspects of myself.
Right.
And I'm not trying to force myself to love everything about me. I'm just trying to help me focus on what I do love about me. And then hope that in that aspect, I can learn to love more parts of myself through that love of my butt.
Right.
And that's how I do a love spell for myself. It's kind of like you're playing psychology. You're playing your own therapist at the same time. Mm-hmm. And it's also a form of shadow work to do self-love spells in ways that are not forcing you to do something you are not ready to do.
Right.
And I want to put this out here because I struggle really badly with mental health. Depression is really strong in me, and it's pushed me to that cliff way too many times for comfort. Do not do love spells on yourself to force yourself to love things about yourself that you do not like. Because I will tell you this right now, I've tried that before too I have slight love handles. They are not bad. I have bad body dysmorphia. I do not see my body in a way anyone else in the world sees it. It is greatly exaggerated in my mind. And I look very lumpy in my mind, but I know I'm not. And in the past, I've tried doing a love spell on myself to love that part of me. But all it did was force me to look at it even more than I already was. And I was obsessing over it even more. And in order for me to love myself, that part of myself, I had to get rid of that part of myself. So my love handles, the only way to get rid of it was through my eating disorders I also have, was to not eat. I would starve myself to become skinnier, to be something I would love. So in doing a love spell on parts of myself that I don't like, I actually ended up causing more pain for myself because I didn't love that part. I didn't love how that looked. And I was trying to force myself to love myself. And the only way for me to accept that love is for my body to look a very particular way. Right. And I had to cut that shit off after a while because I was pushing myself down a dark road. Right. And thank God I did. And I figured out to just love the parts of myself that I already accept. And then I stopped hurting myself because of that. And my confidence is slowly building. I finally feel mentally stable enough to actually seek therapy. So, like, please, seriously, if you're planning on doing any kind of love spell, think about all of the repercussions. Think about the negative things that could come out of these things. Think of the worst case scenario to make something happen, because a lot of times that worst case scenario is the easiest outcome, the easiest path for magic to work in to get the result you're wanting. So please think seriously if you are going to do any kind of love spell for anything, for anyone, including yourself, because you could seriously hurt yourself and anyone involved.
Right.
Now, outside of glamour, let's say build up upon that to get someone to fall in love with you that you really want. This is another thing that I actually just had personally done over the past few years, is I did some workings, or some spells on myself to influence me to be interested in doing shadow work, to keep pushing me to do shadow work, only when I am able to accept the effort that I put into it. So I do not do shadow work if I'm not feeling mentally healthy, or if I'm not feeling particularly motivated, or if I don't have that energy to do it. That motivation does not come in. Now, when I am feeling in the right state of mind for shadow work, that spell will kick in and spark my interest in helping myself, improving myself, bettering myself. Right. So every moment that my mind is healthy and I'm in a safe space in life, shadow work starts I start doing shadow work instinctively now because of that. So, and I also protect myself at the same time, so I'm able to grow to the person that is... I hate this term, but I can't think of a better word. I want to make myself into someone who's worthy of the love that I'm wanting, instead of demanding it or expecting it to happen because I feel like I deserve it, but I also feel like I need to work for it myself instead of just demanding it from the universe.
Right.
So I try to work towards that person, that the person I want to love me would want as well.
Right.
And that's also a type of love spell in itself. Shadow work is kind of love magic, if you think about it. You're bettering yourself, and when you better yourself, you bring in people that are really going to actually love who you are.
Yeah.
Instead of people that are just going to use you.
Right. Agreed.
And another thing on top of that is... Oh gosh, I lost my train of thought.
Bring in more people when you love yourself.
Ooh, choice friends.
Right.
Choose, if you do workings for yourself, to only bring in friends that are going to grow with you and help you grow. That's also a really key step, because when you find friends like that, they sometimes might encounter someone out in the world that they feel like is going to be a really great match for you, and will really try to get that person in your life. They will go out on a limb to help you because they feel like that person's going to benefit your life and their life too. Because they're not doing it just for them, they're not doing it just for you. They're making sure that that person will fit in your life. And if that happens, that's fantastic. I would also say, don't do self-love spells for other people. Don't even lend your energy to self-love spells for people unless you know exactly what they're doing. Because like I said before, self-love spells can be very harmful to the individual depending on their mental health. So you have to make sure that the workings they're going to do, if you're going to help them, has no, and I mean zero, nada, probability of hurting them or anyone else in any way. But I do want to add there, because I kind of misspoke a little bit, is sometimes it is necessary to hurt other people to improve your life. As an example, your family. Your family might not have the best intentions for you. They might be the ones that's hurting you all the time. You might have to cut out family to better yourself and become the type of person that you want to be, that you want to love. And maybe your family just doesn't and cannot love you. Speaking from experience, my parents are very narcissistic, and I highly doubt have ever actually loved me or my siblings. And ever since I've distanced myself and cut them out of my life, like 95% cut out of my life, same for holidays, but that's about it. But ever since then, my mental health has been fantastic. I've been able to grow. I've been able to slowly, it only took like 6 years, but yeah, it took 6 years for me to be able to feel safe after leaving them. Because I did not feel safe when they were in my life. And now that they are no longer now that they can no longer control any aspect of my life, and that I don't need them for survival, I feel safe. And honestly, I kind of removed the parent title from them. They're just adults that I know that are going to need to earn a relationship with me if they want one. And it will only be as friends. That will be where the line gets drawn. When they try to overstep those boundaries, I will leave. That's also self-love right there. So I spoke a lot. Do you have anything you want to talk about and add?
No, I think I pretty much said all I wanted.
All right, well, thank you for joining us today. We are tired, and I want to take a nap or play a game. I don't know. We'll see. I don't like sleep. You're right. Like, what do I want to waste my time on more?
Right. Sleep is always good.
And I did wake up at like 6 this morning.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it started raining real hardcore, and with the rain came strong winds. We had our window open, and the door had gone. We were like, "What the fuck?" We were scared shitless. We woke up, it started raining. We had to close the window. Chance had to go outside and put the umbrella down because that was wide open.
Oh.
And some of the plants had gotten blown over because they were only in pots, and
Oh,
Chance had to save that one. And yeah. Anyway, see y'all next time. We'll try to maintain regular updates as much as possible, but please understand that we do have hiccups in our own lives, and we have shit that sometimes happens, but we'll try to record in advance and try to share our own personal gnosis with you.
Yeah.
And we would appreciate any feedback. If there are any topics that anyone would like to have discussed or talked about on any of our future episodes, please say something in the comments. If you have criticisms or if you would like to have a discussion with us, again, speak to us in the comments and we can go from there. So,
all right.
See y'all next time.
Bye.
Bye.